not for me.
You don't like conspiracy theories?
I mean, am I obliged to?
No. I mean, some people don't really like conspiracy theories.
I mean, it's not that I haven't heard many of them, but the ones I hear the few that I've heard sound a little ridiculous, and
That's why they're conspiracy
they're
theories.
theories, so you can't really confirm or deny them. So it's like, what's even the point? That's kind of how I feel about them. But if I hear some like really cool, interesting ones, then I wouldn't mind. Shoot, I think the pizza might be ready upstairs. All right,
Bruh.
I'll try. I'll try. No, I'll eat down here. Like it's fine.
Yeah, but then your lips smack all over the microphone.
Like that, or
Like during
no,
during the senior year podcast, you were eating an apple or something. And if you're wearing headphones and listening to it, you can like really hear it.
Yeah, that was a good podcast. I really hope Andy like does not listen to that one though.
Oh,
Or like no one.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Carlos just like he ranted about like all of his frustrations about everything, and then just like took a poop on Andy, and then like talked about like retreat, and that was like all of it summed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fun times.
Micah kind of threw some shade at him too, though. I mean, I wasn't.
Yeah, but
wasn't
like,
the only one. I wasn't the only one that got screwed over.
I
that
would
year.
say like
And
what
plus,
Andy did,
Art.
and then I'd be like, but he's a nice guy at the end, because he is.
Hey, I said that at the end of the day, he's a good Christian man, and that's all that matters. I mean, you can go back in the podcast. I literally said those exact words.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm not mad at him right now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just disappointed.
Dude, I bought a truck today.
Dude, what kind of truck?
It's a Dodge Ram 2500.
Nice.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Diesel
get the
power.
Jeep.
I was trying to get a
you were gonna get
Jeep
the Jeep.
Cherokee, but the dude sold it like 5 minutes before I got to his house.
Oh.
I was on my way over to his house, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, bro, but I just sold it." I'm like, "What? Why'd you have me come all the way over here if you already have someone over there looking at it?" And,
How far did you have to drive?
oh, I was like right around Costco when he texted me. So, Marion to Costco, it was like 25 miles, I guess. But
Okay.
so then
What year of Cherokee?
Huh?
Hello, everyone. This is Future Micah here, and my computer crashed halfway through the podcast, and sadly, we don't get half of the conversation. And it will do this one more time throughout the podcast, and I'll let you know when it does it. But we will skip ahead until I get my computer back and refreshened up here. So, sorry about that.
They need it for the 2-wheel drive. Well, I guess the hills you're driving on though, for like
Well, I'm hardly ever going to use four-wheel
highway
low
2.
anyway. I'll use four-wheel high,
No,
but not low.
I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like 4-wheel high is like one you might want to consider once winter comes around. Okay, if
Sierra has not responded at all. She usually takes like 2 hours to get back to me, so.
You know what? That's fine with me, honestly. That means we don't have to talk about conspiracy theories. We can just talk about Star Wars, and that's when I start hitting the record button. Everything comes in motion.
I've already started recording, so.
Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah, because like sometimes, your nice little intro plays, and then we have that whole conversation about the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
you
don't
can
know if
even you can even hear you could hear me typing on my mechanical keyboard too.
Yeah, I was typing too. It was just I did that because the podcast is always so much better when we're just talking. Like when we're trying to be all like, "Ooh, look at me, I'm so smart, problems with society." It's lame. So it's just, I don't know. It was just better when we were just talking.
I kind of agree with that though. Okay. Uh, you want to intro this one, Micah?
Nah, I did the last one. You can do this one.
Oh, okay. Let me get some water.
Bruh.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Apathetic Podcast. I'm your co-host, Carlos. And then your main host, you got the Revis, and then special guests, we got Caleb Colty. Woo! How's
Yay.
Yeah. So originally we were gonna do a podcast on conspiracy theories. But a bunch of schedules got there. We just had a bunch of scheduling conflicts and stuff going on.
Carlos had bad
And
communication.
I literally called you on okay, whatever. I mean you just weren't on your phone for like a half hour.
Yeah,
Which
because
is fine,
I was trying to figure out why my truck was broken.
Oh.
But it's fine.
Well,
It's
I
fine.
hope you're yeah, I know it's fine. You told me that 5 minutes ago. Um, so we're not gonna actually talk about conspiracy theories. We actually got a better idea from Caleb, and we're just gonna talk about Star Wars for like an hour ish.
Yes. We will talk about
So
conspiracy theories someday, but just not today.
yeah, well, the main person who requested conspiracy theories isn't here right now, and
She was supposed to be a special guest,
we're
but since the
yeah,
scheduling stuff, we had to tell her last minute to be here, and then she wasn't able to be here because she never responded.
yeah.
So,
Well, still has. Imagine she responds while we're just talking about Star Wars. But anyway, yeah. I mean, let's talk about Star Wars, man. I mean, either one of you want to start?
well, um, let's see here. The new show that's gonna come out, Boba Fett, or like the Book of Boba. Do you
Yeah,
think
Oh
it's
yeah,
Boba
gonna?
Fett.
Do you think it's gonna
I'm
start out with
excited for
like
that
young
one.
Boba, or start out with like where he is now?
I think it's gonna start. I think how the first episode is gonna open is how he got out of that situation he was in what was it like episode
6.
like 6 when like Han Solo like unknowingly like hits Boba Fett's jacket, not his jacket, his jetpack, and then he just falls into the pit, like the
I think
Sarlacc.
that was the last one.
Yeah, that
Oh
was episode
yeah,
6.
the last Jet, yeah, episode 6, yeah, the
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
Jedi. I still think that was kind of a stupid way for Boba Fett to go out, but at least we got him back now. So yeah, I think how it's gonna open is him like is we just see like a little sequence of him getting out, and then we just cut to him on like where he was like at the end of Mandalorian season 2 when he went back to that place in Tatooine, or I believe that was Tatooine. Can't remember. And
I think it
then
was.
it'll just pick up from there. In terms of what's gonna actually happen with the character, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I have like little to no idea to what to expect from the show.
Yeah.
However, I mean, I guess if you want to keep talking about Boba Fett a little more, we should just keep going on with how cool he was in season 2 of Mandalorian, because that was probably the best that we've ever seen, like
Yeah.
that character
Who
for
was
sure.
his little sidekick? What was her name?
Oh, I don't remember. She had like she was actually someone that like the Mandalorian like shot in the stomach and then had to get like robotic repairs to on herself.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember much after that. But all I remember in I think it was like episode like 6 or 7 of season 2 when Mandalorian's trap along with like Boba Fett's little sidekick, and then all of a sudden you see someone like swoop in, and you see him in that nice suit, and he's like hitting people left and right and cracking stormtrooper armor with a stick, which like further proves that stormtrooper armor is like useless and made out of plastic at this
It
point.
is just yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally plastic. He swings a giant club pretty much made out of wood and just he's even able to impale people
Yeah.
like through that. I mean, it was cool. I'm not complaining. Like it was really cool to see, but it makes no sense on the stormtrooper side of things. I mean, if it feels like being a stormtrooper would be like the minimum wage job that you would get in the Empire, and then like Vader would be like an operations manager type of position.
Mm. Hmm.
What do you guys think of the Bad Batch?
It was good.
Wait, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't finish it. Like I
It
probably watched like the first 4 episodes, and then I just kind of
Only the first 4.
bruh.
yeah, I
Wow.
know.
I
I mean, you guys can talk about what happened. I mean, I don't really care.
it was pretty good with like the first couple of episodes, and then in the middle when they got to like Sid's place, and we had like 5 episodes of them doing random stuff, which it was okay, but it wasn't like super exciting. And then
Yeah.
at the end, it was really good. I really liked the ending of it.
Okay.
That
I
is
think
good.
I think I also got lost around the middle too. Like I remember that like that first episode, which was like what, over an hour long.
Yeah,
Like that was
Oh,
some
such a great episode.
that was really cool. I mean, you see like the Order 66 stuff happening. Like I think it's so cool how we see more perspectives on the whole Order 66 stuff and like how badly that affected everything, cuz it started with Revenge of the Sith and like that memeable montage of like that all those Jedi being killed and sadly a Plo Koon getting shot down. And
Hmm.
then it kind of expanded with the Clone Wars on how Ahsoka was affected and like barely survived from Order 66. And now we got like the Bad Batch with seeing how they were affected by Order 66. And I don't remember which member of that group it was that like kind of turned against the Bad Batch.
it was
But it was kind of
Crosshair.
cool. It was
Yeah,
who?
Crosshair.
Crosshair, yeah. But it
Yeah.
was cool to kind of see that happening. And then,
Well, it was, because in the beginning of the show, you're thinking like, oh yeah, he still has the chip in his head, like, his chip is affecting him. And then like in the last 2 episodes or whatever, like they all find each other again and they're fighting and stuff and they like knock him out, like try to take the chip out, but he's like, no, like I already took the chip out of my head. And it's like a big reveal. Like that's like Crosshair is actually like a emperor. Like he's part of the Empire. Like he willingly wants to be part of the Empire.
Yeah,
oh, so he actually has his loyalties towards them instead of Bad Batch. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I didn't fit. I probably watched like the first 4 episodes, maybe 5. The only stuff like I felt it didn't like ruin the show for me, but just seemed like a liability was what's her name?
Omega.
Omega,
I
yeah.
hated her so much.
she was annoying. Like how they would try to Hunter didn't want to do a mission because like we're all gonna die if we do this, and Omega's like,
Mhm.
but we have to because it's the right thing to do. It's like, who cares about that?
We
Like,
have to save the people.
who cares? Like,
I
Hunter,
feel, there's also
Hunter, we have to save the people.
yeah,
I feel like there were also a lot of situations where like the Bad Batch by themselves would have been just fine, but then Omega like gets herself into trouble, then they all gotta like backtrack a little bit, which then makes the episode drag on a little longer,
Yeah.
therefore making the entire show drag on like a few episodes longer.
I think that's part of why the first episode was so awesome. There was no Omega.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
in the Clone Wars, the Bad Batch where they got their episode. Oh,
that was
so
pretty
so
cool.
cool.
Speaking of like Clone Wars, I want to talk about that final season that
It
we
was
got.
good.
It was
So
so
good.
good. That was
Like
like some of the best Star Wars content like we got
the
like
the
ever.
last 4 episodes when like Darth Maul and Ahsoka. Ooh, those are so good.
Oh
Like
yeah.
my
Those
favorite
ones were
episodes
good.
is those ones.
I wasn't a fan of like the Ahsoka ones like by herself, like because not really much happened or nothing really relevant happened. But the episodes before that series of episodes with like, just more war stuff and like, trying to get ready to wrap up um like that whole Clone War. And then you see, was it like Echo? They brought back Echo,
hmm
and
Yeah.
then like
That was a cool episode.
that was a pretty cool arc. And then you got to see some of Anakin doing his fancy shenanigans with his lightsabers. Um, which shameless plug right here heavily inspired my Space Cops choreography. Although we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really do all of that because Jacob kept messing up, but
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Anyway, I think my favorite scene from that whole season was kind of near the very end when you see Darth Vader and he picks up one of Ahsoka's lightsabers that she leaves behind.
Yeah, yeah. After he comes back to the wreckage after a while.
Yeah, and you see like all those clone trooper helmets and those helmet like Ahsoka pretty much got her own squad of her own, but it was so cool how their whole armor design was based off Ahsoka's look. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's, part of what makes it so emotional is that, like in the beginning of that arc, she comes back, she's not really supposed to be there because she left the Jedi Order, and then her old battalion and like the clones that loved her and stuff, like, they found out that she was back, so they like tried to honor her. It's just awesome. And then like at the end of the arc, her sister and stuff, she doesn't want to kill any of them, so she like stuns them and stuff when she's fighting them in that last episode. And then she buries them at the end.
Can't say the same for those kids Anakin killed, that's for sure. And then I think another highlight from that final season was that fight between Darth Maul and Ahsoka.
Yes.
And if you notice at the very beginning of the fight, you hear that scream that Palpatine does, after he's like in Revenge of the Sith, he goes, "It's treason," then, and it goes, "Ah!" like you can actually hear that scream like right before that fight initiates. I thought that was kind of cool. And fun fact, the guy who did the choreography for episode 1, I don't remember his name, but he came back to do the motion capture for for that episode in the Clone Wars, which was super cool.
Just
I
for
thought,
that one.
yeah, just for that, cause it was
Wow.
like the fight scene. I don't know. I don't think he came back for the entire for like the other previous Darth Maul appearances in the Clone Wars, but for that specific fight scene, I knew he came back. That was like a pretty cool thing to learn, because that's why it seemed it just kind of showed how Dave Filoni like wanted to give more details and like kind of pay homage to all the all the previous like people who like worked on Star Wars.
hmm
All right. Well, I think that kind of, I mean, do either of you have anything else to say about that last season, or do you want to talk about any other previous season as well?
Eh.
Eh,
Eh.
eh. All right, eh. Cool. So I just we gotta address this thing too. I mean, this is another popular debate. Han totally shot first. Like, let's just get that out of the way. Han Han shot first. No doubt about
Doesn't
that.
it depend on like which version of it you watch? Because like the original version,
Yeah. So I think the original version had Han shooting first, and then there was like some alternate DVD version that came out in the early
the
2000s that
remastered,
had
yeah,
that had Greedo shoot. And now in the newer versions that the Blu-ray collection along with the ones on Disney Plus as well, Han shoots first. I mean, also
Yeah.
just it makes like way more practical sense. I mean, if Greedo would have shot first, then Han would have been the one dead. But in that, early 2000s DVD edition or whatever that version was, it shows Greedo shooting like 3 feet next to Han's head. So that doesn't even make any sense. Why, like, why you would even film Greedo shooting first when he was gonna be dead anyway. Just saying.
Greedo was so lame.
I don't know. His voice
Super
was.
lame.
I don't know. I kind of like his voice. It's like anda tula tolo. Like I don't know.
Like
I kind of like. I like imitating his voice, but then that's it.
out of all um the bounty hunters, he's probably the lamest one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Boba Fett. He's no who's the one from the Clone Wars? The blue guy with the red eyes and the
Cad
hat.
Bane.
Yeah,
Cad Bane. Yes, that was a dope bounty hunter. I
Cad
liked him.
Bane's so cool. He's the one who gave Boba Fett the blast on his helmet, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He gave him the dent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's supposed to come up in the book of Boba too.
Yeah,
That would be so cool.
because they
I mean,
never
Yeah.
showed him dying. I don't think.
no, not really.
No. I don't think he really gets an ending in the Clone
No.
Wars or anything. He just kind of pops into some episodes and arcs and whatnot.
And
Yeah,
he never dies in any of those episodes. He just kind of leaves or like gets thrown in jail or whatever. But okay, speaking of bounty hunters, remember that one in episode 2 uh that Jango Fett hired to kill Padme by sending in killer worms. I
yeah.
mean, worst I mean, I don't know. I would actually argue that assassin is worse than Greedo. Is worse than Greedo, or that bounty hunter is worse than Greedo. Because I mean,
Well,
at least
that was funny because Jango Fett got hired by um see didn't he
Was
get
it
hired by like the
Dooku or someone?
yeah, like Dooku, and then he hired that bounty hunter, and then that bounty hunter used a droid to deliver the killer centipede millipede things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a
That was
whole
so.
sequence.
I mean, it was kind of a cool sequence. With like Anakin like on, like kind of like flying around on the thing
Yeah,
and that funny scene in the bar when that one that one that one random guy was like, "Yeah, you want to buy some death sticks?" And Obi-Wan's like doing that mind trick. He's like, "You don't want to sell any death sticks." I don't want to sell any death sticks. And then he goes, "You want to go home and rethink your life?" And
yeah.
then he goes,
I
"I
want to
want to
go
go
out.
home and rethink my life."
Yeah,
That was like probably the one cool scene. But then you as you see when Anakin and Obi-Wan are interrogating her, Jango Fett was able to snipe her like right in the neck too with a tiny little poisonous needle. And it's like if he has pinpoint accuracy like that, why didn't he just assassinate Padme?
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at. It's like he hired someone else to do his work for him, and then that one messed up completely. And then like if Django really wanted to do the job right, he would have just done it himself.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But no, I think, well, ultimately it was just plot armor. I'd say. It's kind of like the same reason why Obi-Wan like didn't use like that force speed dashing move to like catch up to Qui-Gon and Darth Maul. It was just plot armor so that Qui-Gon could die. And like I think like half of these scenarios are like all plot armor related, where a lot of, like, maybe not to the same extent as horror movies do, because horror movies, they just have like the little kids do something that's so obviously stupid, like such as opening a door that just lets, the little creature inside when they see a little toy or action figures of theirs outside. I mean, it's not to that extent, but it definitely just felt like they just had no other choice but to just showcase incompetence within certain characters.
Yeah. Micah, do you remember that episode of in Clone Wars where they gather a bunch of bounty hunters together and they put them through like a trials sort of thing to see
Yeah,
who like the best bounty hunter is?
put them in
Uh-huh.
the box. Yeah, I remember that.
I think that was a good one. I don't know if any of those bounty hunters are supposed to come in like the into the Book of Boba.
I'm trying to remember which one like actually like made it out, because I
Um,
think there were some that didn't, or maybe some that
so
lost, but I don't really remember it super well.
Well, one of them
this,
was a Jedi undercover. Pretty sure.
yeah. So there was like Obi-Wan and Anakin were doing something. I can't remember what they were doing. But then this bounty hunter tried to kill them, and then Obi-Wan faked his death, and then they put the bounty hunter in prison. And then Obi-Wan took like special things to make him look like the bounty hunter that was in prison, and then he changed his voice with
Oh
some like
yeah.
weird droid thing. And then
Hmm.
they and then he like went to try to become part of Dooku's team to capture the chancellor, and then yeah, they had to go through the box to try to like become onto the team and stuff. And a few of them died, but I think it was like Cad Bane and Obi-Wan and like two other people that
Yeah.
made it or something like that.
Yeah.
Besides that awesome season 7 we got of Clone Wars, were there any like storylines in the Clone Wars that you guys thought as like your personal favorite? Because I know for mine, I think it was in like season 3, um, when Anakin was like getting those visions of becoming Darth Vader and like the Emperor and all that. But then like at the end of the story arc, that like, that one Force spirit like kind of wiped him of those memories, which makes sense because he obviously just wouldn't remember that after.
Hmm. Are you talking about the one where they go to that planet and there's like the Force God or whatever, and he
Yeah.
he like fights his twin children or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them was good, one of them was bad.
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
liked that story arc. That was so cool.
that one was great.
Micah, you got like a favorite Clone Wars arc, or is it just like season 7?
Um, I don't know. I think Darth Maul's story is just kind of cool. How
Agreed.
Hello, this is Future Mike Reeves once again, and my computer died again. So here's Carlos not really knowing that my computer died, but he actually caught the last part of my sentence, and I was talking about how I liked Darth Maul in the Star Wars Clone Wars series, and also in Star Wars Rebels as well. I just really liked his character arc; it was really good. So anyway, here's Carlos's comment on me saying that my favorite character throughout Star Wars Clone Wars was Darth Maul. Oh, and one other thing, like for the next minute while Carlos is talking, I'm not there. So once I get back, I'm pretty sure that I tell that I'm back. But anyway, here's Carlos's comment on me saying that Darth Maul is my favorite character. Okay, one more thing before we start. Back up again. I'm sorry. I know I said that I would stop talking, but I forgot to mention this as well. So I'm recording Caleb's audio from my computer. So when my computer breaks, Caleb doesn't have any audio. So for like the next 2 minutes, all you're going to be hearing is Carlos's voice. But trust me, it's not that bad. So enjoy Carlos's voice. Oh, and also when I come back, I don't like you can't hear me because I didn't start recording yet. But you should be able to hear Caleb once again. But Carlos will be asking me questions and I won't be able to answer them. So, yeah. So that's what's going on here. But this is the last time that this is going to happen during this podcast. So, yes, it's going to be mwah from now on. I promise.
Yeah, on Dathomir, right? And that's when he got those like creepy spider legs removed, which I mean, and then he got like those normal robotic legs and stuff. And then what was his brother's name again? Like Savage or yeah. I didn't really like how he died. I mean, I don't think they should have killed him off. Although that fight scene, I mean, and then you got I think just all of Darth Maul was like a complete highlight for Clone Wars. I mean, you see him get the Darksaber and like decapitate that other Mandalorian's head. That awesome fight between the Emperor going up against Maul and Savage Opress. I mean, that was another really cool scene. And then obviously we got the in Rebels we got to see him again. And even though I haven't watched a lot of Rebels, I've only seen like clips on YouTube, but I really liked watching that scene with him and Obi-Wan on Tatooine as well. And that was, I think that was like when he died, and then his final request was like was for that chosen one, because he discovered Luke, that like Obi-Wan was like protecting someone, which was like obviously indicating Luke. He was hoping that like his final wish to Obi-Wan was that Luke would like kind of seek revenge on him for like what he did, for like what the Emperor had done to both him and Obi-Wan, because like the Emperor like did a huge number of like awful things to Obi-Wan too. Like, well, maybe not directly, but like definitely to the people around him. Like obviously the big one being Anakin, how he became Vader as well. Okay, so alright, I just got a new idea. What is so going from just all three of us say like a favorite and least favorite scene from the prequels, including Clone Wars if you want to. So Micah, let's start with you on that one. Okay. Um, I was just. Oh. Oh. Okay. You lost all your recording, dude. Crap. Well, that
Wait,
sucks. Well, not only mine. I mean, I'm not recording. What?
uh,
Well, there goes a whole half a podcast. Thanks a freaking lot, dude. You know what? Fine. We can. Sure, we just make this a shorter podcast. Plus, we were kind of moving on to a different Star Wars topic anyway. Hey, maybe we can. Okay. What's been going on with your computer? Did you like pull a legend and like install some kind of virus in it? You like illegally try to download some games or currency for 2K or whatever? Like, what did you do?
Oh,
Okay,
good.
good, because I was about to be like, okay, okay, good, good, okay, okay. Let me know when you like hit record that now. Okay, I guess I'll. No, no, he hasn't hit record yet, so we can't even proceed with the question. I'm gonna do my best Napoleon Dynamite. Such an idiot. You haven't eat all the freaking chips, Kip. Micah, can you do me a favor? Can you bring me my chapstick? But my lips are real bad. Alright,
Okay.
are you like now are you recording? Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Okay, cool.
Hopefully it doesn't
So,
break again. My computer keeps having heart attacks.
is it like what are your RTX computer or like your laptop or what are you using?
It's the RTX one.
How many fans do you have in that thing?
2.
2? Mine has like 7.
Yeah, that's why
Dude,
you're
you're
just so
gonna need
friggin' loud. You know, wee all the time.
you literally can't hear it right now though. And yours is overheating like an oven.
It's
You
not
know, it's just
overheating.
sitting there boiling your RTX 2060.
It's
Is
super cold.
cooking that up, medium rare. That
Super
medium
cold.
rare RTX, right? Medium rare.
Your brain is medium rare.
No, I'd say it's live cow. That's what I call it, live cow. Anyway, going back to the question, and I was gonna start it off with you, but I guess Caleb, if you want to start out with the question, answering the question, you could too. What is your favorite and least favorite scene from one of the prequels, and then we'll do one for the originals and then the sequel trilogy as well.
Well, I love like Star Wars 3. Like, just it was awesome. All of it was just awesome.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my favorite
so
one. That's
great.
my favorite one.
Yeah, storyline was awesome. The drama was awesome. The
Mhm.
politics was awesome. Like, just everything. It was so great.
Yeah.
It was a totally complete story.
Okay.
And like number number two was also really good. I mean, because you got a lot of information about uh,
Uh, like
just like
about the government like
yeah,
related stuff. Yeah.
yeah, government stuff, uh, why things weren't, clones set up, all that.
Did you
And it
have
set up a lot of questions. Like when Obi-Wan goes down to shoot, what's the planet's name?
Camino?
Yeah, when he goes down to Camino,
Yeah.
he's talking with the cloners,
And he's
and then
talking to Boba Fett too.
to Django. Yeah,
I thought no, I thought he taught you saw like Boba Fett too, like as a little kid though,
Yeah,
right?
he talks to
well,
both
yeah,
of them,
but
but it's mainly
yeah,
Django.
Oh,
it's mainly Django, and then they have that fighting scene, and it's sick.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. Did you have like a
But
least favorite scene from that whole series?
uh, probably just the stuff with like Anakin as in the second movie, and he sees Padme for the first time in a couple years or whatever. That was so awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say my least favorite scene from the whole prequels. I mean, it's like a scene that's so bad it's funny kind of thing. He's like, I don't like sand. It's
Oh yeah.
coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere. Like, like that, and like that scene, and then the scene where he's like, I kill them all, and not just the men, but the women and the children too. I hate them. Like that was, that was
Anakin in
like.
the second movie was very annoying.
Yeah.
But in the third movie, like I was gonna bring up my favorite scene in the third movie. Like my one favorite scene in the third movie, surprisingly, is not the Order 66 scene. It's not the the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, which is still like the best lightsaber fight to this day. It's the scene where he goes to Mustafar and kills all those separatists. Like
Yeah.
I thought the setup right there was perfect, and that was like the first time you see him manifest those like Sith yellow eyes, which I thought
hmm
was like such a cool scene.
hmm
And yeah, I mean the rest of that movie was also awesome, but that was definitely one scene that stood out to me. However,
Yeah.
there was one fight scene that didn't stick with me in that movie, and that was the Emperor versus what, four Jedi Masters.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
can
that
we
that was annoying.
can we just talk about how stupid that was? Like,
Two of them
Yeah.
died just like instantly, like right away. They just
yeah, and he kills Kit Fisto just
oh
like that. He killed
yeah
him faster than Thanos could snap half that universe away.
yeah.
And then, like, obviously you can't see my face in the podcast, but I'm gonna try to imitate like some of the stuff that Palpatine was doing. Like, he's like like he's just doing like those weird faces and making those doing those stabby motions because like Ian McDiarmid, like as an actor, just wasn't the best in terms of like lightsaber fighting.
Yeah.
However, then right afterward we got that funny scene when he's like shooting lightning and the lightning's deflecting back at him and he's like, no, I'm too weak, which is like something that Micah says all the time.
Uh-huh.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, and you start to see the aging process or whatever because he
Yeah.
starts electrocuting himself. That part was kind of cool, but it's
Yeah.
super creepy.
Yeah, a little bit. And then,
Micah, what about you?
yeah, what's your favorite and least favorite scene from any of the prequel movies?
Um, my favorite one would probably be the high ground scene. I don't know. I just like it. And
You
then
underestimate my power.
my least favorite one was when Anakin and Padme are like they're on a date, and he's like floating a pear or something over to her, and it's like,
Oh, the dinner scene?
Oh
yeah, it's like
yeah,
I
I
don't
was,
care.
I was
Like,
thinking
why?
he got
that
super romantic for a little bit, and
that
then
in the campfire scene. Remember the campfire scene
yeah,
too, when they're
Yeah.
like inside at night? That one was also like a little weird. And I remember too, we were actually watching this movie during one of our basketball meetups or whatever, like preseason stuff, like our junior year. And Andy like brought up a really funny point. He's like, Padme's like 10 years older than Anakin. So
oh
that's
yeah,
like,
oh
and I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, it's true. Very true.
Yep.
super weird. Well, and that's what makes the scene in the beginning of that movie when like Anakin sees her for the first time in a while, like even more awkward. It's like she's a grown woman, Anakin's like a teenager. It's
Mm-hmm.
just super weird.
Yeah, I know. Ugh. I can't. I literally can't with that. I mean, it's not as bad as the Luke and Leia kiss scene, but yeah, I mean, that was still really weird. And then, so we just went over like our least and favorite and least favorite scenes from the prequels. How about the original trilogy? And I guess I'll start with that. My favorite scene from the original trilogy was probably the scene when Luke tries in episode 5 when Luke tries to lift his X-wing out of the Dagobah swamps. And he's like, "No, I can't." and then Yoda just all of a sudden does it. I mean, that was a pretty cool scene in the original trilogy. And in terms of least favorites, I mean, I don't know if I really. No, my least favorite scene is the that one edition of Episode 4 where Greedo shot first. There, that's my.
Mm.
I mean, it, yeah, that's like the closest thing I have to least favorite because there's honestly like not a lot of like there's not a lot of scenes that are like as stupid as like the prequels per se. It's just yeah, I mean I don't know. I think as overall movies like the original trilogy makes more sense. But like the prequels just had a lot more fun, interesting concepts for it.
Yeah. Michael,
Oh,
what about you?
yeah, I was about to ask that.
I'd say that my favorite scene would probably be the scene where Darth Vader tells Luke that he's his father. It's just it's just such a significant scene in like the entire story, and without it, there probably wouldn't be like a prequels or anything like that. Just because there wouldn't be a need for
No.
a prequels without him saying that he's his father. So I don't know.
Hmm.
It's not like an action scene or anything. It's just a really important scene, and I feel like it's just like a good scene.
Hmm.
And then my least favorite one, uh, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of bad scenes in the original one.
No, not really.
Um, I don't know. Can't really think of any. They're all just kind of
That's perfectly fine. I
yeah.
will say I wasn't super fond of that fight scene between Darth Maul, not Darth Maul, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. However, I do understand why it looks like that because, they didn't have, I mean, this was like early 1970s when they were like making this movie. And so obviously they didn't have the technology to be able to do like high quality choreographed lightsaber sequences like the prequels did. But in the next movie, they actually stepped it up a lot, and the movie after that as well. So yeah, what about you, Caleb?
Uh, really like the city scene. It's really cool. So you got like Darth Vader, Boba Fett,
Okay. You see
Luke
Han.
Skywalker, everybody. Chewbacca. Yeah, and that whole fight scene there is super cool.
Mhm.
Between Darth Vader and Luke, I think that it's filmed really well, and the colors in that scene are just really cool, especially for being filmed a while ago. Yeah, super
Yeah,
cool scene for me.
I like how you mentioned that one too because that one. I mean, that one is a lot better than the episode 4 one, but once again, it's not highly choreographed or anything like the other movies. But however, that does kind of make sense since Luke wasn't fully trained yet. And also Vader was purposely holding back because
Oh
like
yeah.
his whole purpose of being there was he was trying to get Luke to join him so that they could both take the Emperor because Vader knew that by himself he wouldn't be able to take down the Emperor.
Hmm.
Mhm. Did you have like a least favorite scene? I mean, I'm sure it might be hard to come up with one, but
Yeah, maybe Hoth. I didn't like Hoth that much. It was kind of weird. Just like the first part of it, where Luke is like freezing in the because he gets lost and Han like puts him in that animal. I don't know, that was kind of
yeah.
weird.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that. I mean, it's not one that I necessarily hate, but it's not like
Yeah, because that's the thing. There's not really any scene that I hate in the originals because they're all
uh,
awesome. But
yeah.
One scene.
However, going on what was that, Micah?
One scene I just thought about a scene that I didn't really like in the originals. Episode 6, with Jabba's palace when they have like the singers and stuff. They have like a little
Yeah.
concert.
Oh, I totally forgot
I
about that.
forgot
Yeah,
I
about.
no,
hate
Okay,
that
that is
scene.
that's horrible.
that
That's
Terrible.
that
absolutely
scene I didn't
horrible.
like. Also, the Leia and Luke kiss. That's actually probably my least favorite scene.
That
Hmm.
shit's
Like
kind of funny. It's just
I mean, George
ironic.
Lucas
It's
had
so
to know
funny.
what he was doing. He had to
Yeah,
know what he
well,
was doing.
that's why he did it, because it's like, nobody knows that they're siblings, and then it gets revealed in a later movie. It's like, oh
Then
gosh,
everyone's like, "Oh my gosh."
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
moving on to the
I
sequels. Wait, what
One
was
thing
that?
I forgot in the prequels, the seismic charge in the second episode.
Oh, dude, the one that Jango Fett releases on that ship and does that
Yep,
Yeah.
like
Mm,
that.
one of the coolest sounds ever.
And you hear that in Mandalorian as
Yep,
well.
yep,
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah.
Now, we we just talked about how there's not a lot of scenes we dislike or hate in the original trilogy. With the sequel trilogy, we could probably come up with 30 each. So, yeah. Here, you know what? Let's name three things we hated from the sequel trilogy, and maybe like one thing that you got, or maybe like one or two things you guys like. Because I like, there's definitely like I feel like the sequel trilogy is where there was a huge divide within the fan base of Star Wars. Like, there were some who thought they were okay, and then others that just outright hated it. So, I don't know, Micah, you want to start with your opinions on
All
this
right.
one?
Sequel sucked because episode 7 was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it was okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Episode 8 was so garbage. Nothing happened. And by the end of the movie, there was only like 20 people left to fight an entire army. And then episode 9 just didn't make any sense because they all just spawned back. It's like, oh, we have an army again, guys. Let's go. It's like, what? I don't know.
There are so many plot holes in those movies, honestly.
One of my
So,
least favorite scenes is when Rey dies and then Kylo Ren uses the Force to like bring her back or something. And
yeah.
it just doesn't make sense
Yep.
because why wouldn't Anakin do that to Padme? Because like Anakin probably knew more about the Force than Kylo Ren did. I don't know. It's just
And he was definitely more powerful than Kylo Ren
yeah,
was too at the time.
yeah.
And also, like, he dies. Like, I'll bring that up a little later too, within like some of my least favorite stuff. But would you ever happen to like manifest maybe one slightly good scene in
Um,
in the sequels?
a good scene in the sequels.
I know it's really hard to think of one, but
The lesbians kissing.
Caleb, you can't say that. We're gonna get cancel cultured now. What are you doing? Nah, I'm kidding.
Um,
That's fine.
let's see, good scenes.
I actually forgot about that, and then you brought it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, the one that was riding on that X-wing."
Just another reason why they're complete garbage.
Yeah, they're terrible. I can't even think of like. I'm sure there's a scene that's okay, but there's none that I
Okay,
can like specifically think of. They're all kind of bad because it just doesn't make any sense.
really? Oh,
Well, because
okay. Well,
if there was just episode 7, I could come up with some scenes. They're like, oh, this scene's kind of cool, but all the other movies add into it, and it makes those scenes, they're just so lame because
well,
like
yeah.
like when they show when old lady that owns a bar shows Rey the Anakin's lightsaber that she found in space or whatever. That's
And they
cool,
said
but they
that
don't
they
do
would tell
anything
the
with it.
story. They said that, that's a story for another time. But then they never answered like how they got that lightsaber back.
Yeah, it's like a cool scene, but it's just they don't do anything with it, so it's just lame. As like the whole trilogy as a whole is just oh okay, it's garbage.
I say, I'm gonna start with my least favorite scenes from that whole trilogy. First of all, that one lady with the purple hair in episode 8, I can't. I literally couldn't. I was
I'm
so
glad she kills
close to
herself.
just standing up and like walking out of that theater. She was so annoying. Um, another least another least favorite scene of mine is how Luke. I did not like Luke in episode 8 at all. Like he was completely out of character, and
Yeah, it was just an old grumpy fart. Like,
here's
God.
the logical argument I'm gonna make against Luke on this one. So in the original trilogy, Darth Vader, he always has like those yellow eyes now. I mean, he is fully turned to the dark side, and Luke still presses on and on and on. No, I don't believe you. I know there's good in you. But for Ben Solo, who like his dark side, he never even manifested the yellow eyes. So he never even went to the dark side to that extent. It's like, oh, he's like slightly more evil now, like Anakin was, and like all of a sudden you don't see any more good in him and you just quarantine yourself on an island like a recluse. Like that didn't make any sense. You go from I fully believe in you, Darth Vader, to oh, my nephew, yeah, he's not important. Let's just and
Well,
then you
it's also like, Luke is supposed to be like the best Jedi alive at this time, and he's so wise. And then Kylo Ren gets like thoughts of the dark side or something like that, and then Luke freaks out and goes into his tent and like almost kills him but doesn't, and then Ben wakes up. It's like, what? Why? It just
Yeah.
doesn't make any
why would you
sense.
try to do that?
They
Like
nerfed Luke so much in
Oh,
those movies.
so hard.
they nerfed all the Skywalkers so hard. I mean, I feel like Luke and Kylo Ren should have been a lot more powerful, like in those movies. Like a lot more powerful in those movies. That was also the third thing I was gonna bring up. I hated the lightsaber choreography in those movies. Like I just hated it. I mean, you see like Rey swinging the lightsaber around like a baseball bat, or how Rey was able
Well,
to
she's
beat.
never been trained at
Ex-
all.
yeah, but she still beats Ren for some reason, which is
Yeah, and he's had like training from Luke, and
yeah,
yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
Ray
And
just
then
picked it up and he's like, "Oh, I can do this. The force is in me, or whatever. I don't know what I'm doing, but
I'm gonna.
I'm gonna go out and be somebody." And then
I'm
everything
gonna
just works in her way, and it just pisses me off.
Me too, man. Oh, however, the one fight scene I kind of liked was the one where they're on the second Death Star wreckage and the waters everywhere. That was kind of a cool scene. Like that one was
Oh
actually
yeah, yeah, yeah.
choreographed, not bad. But then all the other ones before that were so garbage. Garbage. Space Cops had better choreographed scenes than this.
Yes, sir.
Like I'm telling you right now. And then and now going on to my favorite scenes in the sequels. Um I can think of maybe two of them. The first one is Yoda in Episode 8. I really liked Yoda. You got the old puppet Yoda. They didn't CGI him. They brought back the puppet, and he's hitting Luke with the stick and stuff. It's like old Episode 5, Episode 6 Yoda. The classic Yoda that everyone liked. And yeah, I mean that was probably that was the one thing that like actually kept me in the theater when I was watching that movie because everything else was just so bad. And then the second thing I really liked in the sequels was that scene. Well, I guess they're kind of two scenes in one in a way. It are the scenes with Ben and Han Solo. And with the first version of that scene, he kills him. And then the second one, he throws that lightsaber away. I thought that I really liked that scene, too. But other than that, the everything else was just kind of trash.
Yeah.
What would you, Caleb, say for your least favorites and scenes in terms of the sequels?
I guess. Well, for good things, they were filmed really well. That's something that you didn't get in like the originals because the technology back then was trash and stuff. So, it's really, really cool to see Star Wars and, all of its glory and high
with
definition
modern
and whatnot. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
modern stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some epic scenes, like with what was it? The Death Star. Yeah. The Death Star had crashed into that planet or whatever. Went
Hmm.
through it. That was really cool. Um, yeah. So all of that was really cool. But in terms of the story itself, um, just total trash. I hated the characters just from the beginning. Like Ray, I just hated her character. Finn, absolutely hated Finn. He was just so whiny and
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Honestly,
bad.
I didn't like BB-8 that much
Oh,
either.
hated BB-8 too.
BB-8
Just a
sucked.
replacement for
For R2,
R2D2, and you
but
can't get better than R2. You know.
I just thought of a couple more scenes that were actually not bad. I like the scene when Luke meets R2 again. Like that, I mean, I know that was kind of like a 40-second scene, but that was also a really nice scene.
Yeah.
I just remember the opening sequence of episode 9 was actually pretty cool too, with Kylo Ren just going ham on all those other troopers and well, not troopers, but just other people. And it was actually confirmed that he went to Mustafar, which was like where Vader's temple was.
Hmm.
And then he got that Sith holocron. And then I also really love that scene in Exegol when he discovers Palpatine, even though it doesn't make sense on why Palpatine survived, which
Doesn't make
wasn't
any sense, or the
no.
planet, or anything there, but it's cool.
The
I mean,
okay,
when there's those thousands of
Star
ships in the
Destroyers,
skies, yeah, just raise up out of the
dude.
ocean or
Imagine
whatever.
it,
Super cool, but doesn't make sense.
yeah. Imagine being the Emperor and be like, all right, in 24 hours, I'm gonna annihilate all your planets. But
Yeah.
first, I'm gonna bury them underground first. It's
And
like
then there's
what?
just this girl who's had no training in anything, and then she's just automatically the best person to,
Nah,
yeah.
exactly. And also, I also gotta wonder, where do they get all the kyber crystals to make to make those planet destroyers?
Oh
Because
yeah.
like it was because they needed kyber crystals to make the Death Star. And so how are
Hmm.
they still in stock after they use up a bunch of them for the Death Star? That
I don't know.
they just didn't have a plan with those movies. Like
There
they
was
Yeah.
really just
something.
did not have a plan whatsoever.
They
Like
I
I
wanted
think
think
as much action and
they just
cool scenes as they could without the
with the last
storyline back.
movie with the last movie they banked on fan service because they realized that that like no one likes the new characters, so we're gonna bring back old characters.
Yeah.
And so that's why they brought back Palpatine and they kill Snoke, which by the way, I don't think Snoke was that bad of a villain. I think he could have been a really cool villain.
Well,
But
yeah,
like
I thought he was gonna be like the villain, and he was gonna take over that role and stuff because Palpatine was dead, but then they brought him back. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think
the
they could have done a lot more cool stuff with Snoke.
the way that Snoke died was like so lame. Because
yeah,
how could he just not realize that? Oh, the lightsaber right next to me is turning towards me. Ooh, like like I don't know. The his death was just it was just kind of lame.
I know. That was not
Oh,
a good
same with
scene.
was it Asma or something? The chick stormtrooper in the all chrome.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I totally forgot she
Dude,
She
existed.
was like really cool, and they did absolutely nothing with her.
they killed her off in the eighth movie
Yeah,
Yeah,
fighting Finn. It's like, bro, you got like she was like the Boba Fett
yeah.
of that trilogy, and then they just kill her.
yeah.
And
Yeah, like
then
she is the commander of everybody there. She's the most trained, like she's the best, and then she just gets like
uh,
killed off. Yeah,
let's also talk about that Rey Skywalker scene.
Oh, at the very
Totally,
end.
totally stupid. Like that.
Who are you? I'm Ray.
Rey
I'm
who?
Ray Skywalker.
And then,
So dumb.
dude, I remember I watched this video online of someone recording a crowd reaction in the theater, and it's all these people getting angry, and they're like, "I hate Star Wars. This
Yeah.
movie sucks." And then there's people like getting up and leaving the theater already.
Yeah. It was just her changing her name to Skywalker was just like so lame. And how did Palpatine have children? Like what?
Yeah, who's the grandmother?
They don't give like enough backstory.
Well, no, like I said, they had no plan whatsoever. All what they did was they're like, "Oh shoot, we just Ryan Johnson just killed off Snoke. Bring back Emperor." Like he's like, "Okay, well, thanks for that."
Yeah. Well, we could do a part 2 on this if you guys want. I think
Yeah,
we reached about
I'm
an
so
hour.
Yeah.
down. I'm so
Do a
down
part
to
two.
do a part 2. I'm so down.
Yeah, it's probably around dinner time for me and, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I think my pizza's ready actually, so
yeah.
I might want to go upstairs and get some of that good stuff.
Well, this was
Sounds
great.
pretty good.
We should do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
Part 2.
Part two.
Part 2.
Sometime.
Yep. We'll try to do a conspiracy theory, but we'll definitely do a part 2 of Star Wars. Maybe even a part 3, because, I don't know, this is fun.
Yeah,
And,
I could see this
fun.
becoming more of a longer series, like our high school series for sure.
Yeah, but it's just because there's so much in Star Wars that you can talk about.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Legends.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I gotta read up on that again. That's gonna be a ton of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right.
All
Good.
right, solid. All right, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to the Apathetic Revis.
Yep.
Um,
Hit the bell
follow, smash the like button. Like,
Yep.
don't click it, smash it. Take a sledgehammer, smash your computer monitor on that,
thing. If you're
wherever
listening,
that like button is.
if you're listening on Spotify, please follow. It helps out. And yeah, I think that's it.
All right, solid. All right, take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
All right.